Beloved heart, before we begin, I have a special gift for you. If you've been feeling the intensity of Earth's rising plasma light codes and want to stay centered in your body and heart and energy field, I've created a free light language quantum grounding activation just for you. This transmission will help you stabilize, integrate, and align with the new frequencies flowing onto the planet. Simply join my mailing list. See the link that's in the show notes to receive instant access. Let's ground into the light together.
This is the transfiguration of the new you. Hello, beloved. Welcome back to another episode. I'm Monica Bermudez. I'm your host for this podcast. This is a brand new month as you're hearing this. In the month of February, there's a lot that is going on energetically, that is, as well as astrologically. And I just feel that this is a month that may rattle our nervous system in a different way. There's a lot astrologically that's happening. The biggest one for this month is, of course, the fire horse. There's just so much of big ones. The fire horse gets initiated this month. And so that is a whole new year of the fire horse, which is faster moving, but there's also an aspect of the healing in this because where I feel is like a lot of stuff that is coming up right now. There's a lot of money wounds, I would say, that is coming up, a lot of worry on safety, whether, we feel safe or not, because of everything that is going on in the world. Um, and I'm certainly not discrediting anyone who is feeling all sorts of stuff coming up. I think what is so essential, right, is that we take care of ourselves and our well-being, our mental health, even if that means shutting off, certain news and information that you're getting from others, and really setting your boundaries and your standards, and what it is that you want to have space for yourself, not to bypass any of your feelings or emotions or anything that is coming up. It's okay to feel what you're feeling. And I will tell you that I have been feeling a lot of fire, especially my solar plexus, a lot of fire that is like in anger. And I feel this, for myself. I feel like there is this whole accumulation of stuff that has been an injustice. And then I see that also happening, playing out so much in the collective as well. Um, there is this injustice, type of feeling. And so that is like, in a way, that's a good fire anger because it's the anger that drives you to act in a way that provides an actual practical solutions, um, for yourself, but for all of us. And whether that role may be to be out, speaking up your truth in your own way and expressing it in whatever way that is, um, that is um, the role that each person is going to play is going to be different. And I think we should honor what role everybody's going to play out. Um, and so it's not discrediting anyone for whatever role they choose to be in, or, to be judged or criticized in that way, if they're doing it a certain way. But I do feel that each one of us has a very important key aspect of ourselves in our purpose, in our mission here on earth right now, to serve the collective through also taking care of ourselves too. Self-care is really essential right now, and that includes our mental health and our physical health. We can't really be helping others if we're depleted ourselves. Like if you're extremely exhausted and you're trying to drive a car and you're kind of like falling asleep and dozing off, um, then it's just putting yourself at risk, physically. in that way. So it's best to just give yourself the rest that you need and come fully charged in whatever way it is that you're going to be able to serve. Um, so, I share this because this is something that I've also had to like become really aware of myself, because the key is really being aware of where your energy is being pulled, or where the energy is being pushed on you. So it's like a pull and push, but really just being aware of the energy and what you're feeling, being with yourself, that is to comfort yourself and give yourself some space through certain like intention or ceremony that you want to do. And so that's the fire horse, right? Is really being clear right now as we're in the last days of the year of the snake, of the shedding of the ego, old identities, old stories, and old, ways that we identify ourselves. And the biggest one is around money. So, which is what this topic is really about, that I want to talk about the financial situation, and what is coming up, the messages, that I'm getting, because it all ties into our beliefs and our stories. But this is really digging in deep because, um, maybe there's another aspect that is being polished. It's like polishing the diamond to be brighter, right? There's like saying you missed the spot, or there's another area here that is reaching that refinement of that diamond aspect of yourself. It doesn't mean that no shadows ever going to exist. This is the crucial part of the integration of our shadow aspect of ourselves. So the next big thing about this month in February is that is a great conjunction. So this is going to be a conjunction of Neptune and Saturn on February 20 at 0 degrees in Aries. And I actually want to dedicate an entire episode about this because there's just so much to talk about for this. Um, and this is the last time that this has occurred. This is like an ancient, rare, great conjunction that doesn't happen so often. And I would say maybe the last time this happened was about 9,000 years ago, which is around the time that it was like a huge turning point in societal, in culture, way of like being. So it's like it moved from the old Stone Age into like this whole switch up into like the new age, new Stone Age type era. So this is completely different. I feel like it's not, it's like moving beyond the Stone Age. Stone Age served its purpose, the time when it was a cycle of like dissension, I would say. A cycle where we were on a mode of survival, more focused on the survival of safety, which was, rightly so at the time. It served this purpose, right? To keep us in a safe, in a certain way here in the physical form, in our physical bodies here serving Earth, or playing the roles and just really living those lives to learn, to experience, to expand, to grow. But now a lot of that is coming up again because there is this whole turning point in this cleansing that is really asking us to question, some of our beliefs, where they stem from, and really digging in deep into those areas. And so for me, this huge turning point is like a new way, a new human, a new form. And, the phrase homo luminous is the one that really comes up for this, that is emphasized. And I see this as being this new, an age, new cycle age of the new human that is homo luminous, the age of the homo luminous. Um, so this month, going back to this whole thing about the intensity of it, February 2026 arrives with intensity, but also with honesty. So there is more of this truth and this wanting to speak up, our voice and be amplified in that way, to speak our truth. And this is not a month to be, sugarcoat reality after what I just shared, because these are major points astrologically. The astrology, this was like pretty much written in the stars for us, like pretty much our destiny, where we're going this whole new cycle. So, and it is not a month to panic either. Many people are feeling it already, like the nervous system is rattled, questions about money, uncertainty about the systems, a deep undercurrent of like, can I really trust what's supporting me right now? And that's, one of the biggest questions that is coming up. And rightly so, because of all the things that we're seeing around the world, right? And if you're really feeling that, I want you to hear this very clearly. You're not broken, you're not failing, and you're responding to a collective transition. February carries a pressure point in the collective field around value, safety, and survival structures. Old financial agreements, both personal and global, are showing cracks. So, not because you did something wrong, but because they were built on outdated assumptions, outdated beliefs, and outdated ways of doing things. So, this month asks us to tell the truth about money, not the polished truth, the real one. What is the real story of all of this? And the real truth is, many people have money wounds that have nothing to do with numbers and everything to do with safety, trust, and power. And today I want to speak more about that for this episode. When we talk about the financial crisis, most people think externally, markets, debt, inflation, governments, and corporations. But the deeper crisis is really internal, it's really within us. And it's really tied to the belief systems and what stories we're telling ourselves, what stories we're carrying of others. So it's the quiet fear that says, I could lose everything. I don't actually know how secure I am. No matter how much I earn, it never feels like enough. I can't relax around money. Now, I don't want to discredit anybody who's feeling that either. This is, just for an awareness for yourself to know, what is showing up and to be there for yourself as well. So a lot of this, didn't really start with you. For many, money has been associated with control, shame, instability, silence, over responsibility, or survival pressure at a young age. That is, the way societal structures, the usual has been made is that you pretty much grow up, you go to school, you get a good job, a 9 to 5 job, and it pays you, and that's really what's shaking right now. And so it's scary when you've grown up with that identity growing up. Um, in February 2026, it feels like, it's going to bring up those unspoken agreements to the surface. And it's not to punish us, because there's times that I do feel that it is kind of some punishment, but I want to reiterate that it's not really to punish us, but to end unconscious loyalty to them, to whatever it is that we attached our identity to. And, a lot of it that was groomed growing up as well through our childhood, through many lifetime experiences as well. For those who have had many vows of poverty engraved, which is something that I've been personally, breaking the generational cycles around, really working energetically on this. So I really highly encourage, a lot of this, that I'm sharing is really to build that awareness and to really, understand where it's coming from for yourself so that you're able to take action for yourself and how it is that you're going to, and I'll share, some ideas as well. But here's what people need to hear right now. Feeling unsafe with money does not mean you are unsafe. It means an old agreement is asking to be renegotiated. So, energetically, February carries a clash between future focused innovation and old survival based structure. Remember, there's February 20. This is a great conjunction, you know. It's not going to happen overnight, you know, that all of this is going to just magically just go away like that, you know. But it's something that's going to unfold, you know, and there is no race here, like who's going to get there first, you know, like competition sort of thing. So give yourself the time that you need to process, you know, a lot of this. And this, you know, of course, this creates tension. And that's why the nervous system could feel rattled too. People may notice sudden expenses, you know, unpredictable income, delays, or a heightened awareness of financial dependency. But here's the key insight. The instability is informational. It's revealing where money has been used as a substitute for trust, a measure of worth, or a false sense of control. For decades, many were taught, if I just earn more, I'll finally feel safe. But February disrupts that illusion because safety is not a number, it's a relationship. It's a relationship with self and a relationship with the money that, you know, you possess or money in general. So let's name something important without spiritual bypassing. Money trauma doesn't always come from poverty. Watching adults, you know, argue, it could be another form or an example where it may come from, where this whole story and belief system may stem, is watching adults argue about money, being praised only for productivity, being rewarded for overworking, being taught that the rest is irresponsible, that rest is irresponsible, being told we can't afford that without explanation, or learning that love was conditional on performance. So when people say, I don't feel safe financially, what they often mean is, I don't trust that life will support me without me constantly proving myself. So this is what may actually mean. So this month really exposes this pattern. Really pay attention to the patterns and the stories that are coming up. Um, and the healing begins not by forcing abundance, but by ending self-abandonment in the name of survival. So really and that's where self-care comes in, right? And being with yourself is to not be in this, you know, the self-abandonment aspect, or not to abandon yourself again, but really be for yourself, be for you. Not in, you know, not saying that it's selfish or anything like that. To self-care is not selfish because you need to replenish and you need to recharge your battery to be able to have clear, actionable, and practical ways of getting through, navigating, you know, through the situations as well. Beloved, if you're craving deeper connection, intuitive expansion, and consistent energetic support, join me inside the Frequency Resonance Lounge. This is a monthly Master Heart Circle, moon ceremonies that includes the full and new moon, and a private community for connections. Link is in the show notes. So give yourself permission. You're allowed to build safety in new ways, right? Give yourself permission to question the old financial rules, redefine success, choose sustainability over hustle, and create multiple streams of support, not just income, but receive without guilt as well. Just learning to receive. And that is one of the biggest things that I myself had to like really learn how to receive. And not feel guilty about it. So money is changing roles. It is no longer meant to be, you know, your identity, your worth, your only safety net. February 2026 initiates a transition from money as master to money as collaborator, or you being the master of the energy of money because money is a tool itself that is wielded for the good, or for the bad. But it is a choice of the energy that we choose to be around money that ties back to the relationships we have with money and the stories that are playing in the background as well. And that is the key aspect, is to pay attention to those patterns that are coming up. Um, and that means, you want to listen to money, but you don't obey it blindly. So, meaning that money as a master versus money as a collaborator, right? You plan, but you don't live in fear. You take responsibility without carrying shame. And here, here's the most important truth. Financial freedom is not the absence of challenge. It is the presence of choice, of clarity, self-trust, and practical action. And the fire of this whole full moon that was in Leo was all fire. Um, Getting into Aries, a whole new great conjunction that we talked about, the fire horse, all of that is initiatory action. And that is a fast moving fire pace of energy that we're stepping into. That's what the fire is really, is to ignite us into this truth, to see it for ourselves, to feel it, and let it be purged in our own way, in whatever way that is. And most of all, to really give ourselves the self-care and the space that we deserve, that we're worthy of as well. So rather than being like a slave to money, slave to working hard to feel the safety of having the money, is really now questioning yourself around where the patterns are and what is really coming up. And it's not an easy thing, because I know there's a lot of things that we've been programmed. And so give yourself the time and the space that you need to really look at these areas. So there's an aspect of us to retire the fantasy version of financial freedom as well. So true financial freedom looks like knowing your numbers without judgment, making decisions from clarity instead of panic, allowing support to come from unexpected places, and feeling resourced beyond just money. So the question would be, can you expand your definition of wealth? And that's what really this new energy is really asking. Because wealth now includes, time, energy, alignment, integrity, supportive relationships, and inner authority, our own sovereignty. So these are just some list of things of what wealth really means. It's not just money. So money follows clarity, not the other way around. So here is a healing reorientation to take away from this. And it's more of just a question and just pretty much looking at it from a different perspective and just some ideas to help you also derive from yourself what is coming up, what you're noticing, what patterns are coming up. So instead of asking, how do I make more money? You're invited to ask, how do I create more trust in my life? Um, Instead of, what if all falls apart? Instead ask, what if I am more adaptable than I was taught to believe? So instead of, saying I am behind, look at it as I am recalibrating. So this month is not about forcing solutions, it's about ending unconscious contracts with fear. So here is a closing declaration to take away from this that you can repeat as often as you desire. Um, I release the belief that money determines my safety. I end agreements rooted in fear, scarcity, and over-responsibility. I choose clarity over panic. I choose integrity over urgency. I allow money to support my life, not control it. I trust my capacity to adapt, create, and receive. I am learning a new language of wealth, one built on alignment, truth, and self-respect. So just know that this month is not here to break you, but it is here to give you the opportunity to liberate you from outdated financial identities. And that, quietly and steadily, is how real financial freedom begins. So pretty much an inner renovation of self, an inner renovation that includes renovating the old stories and our old identities that identify and attach to those stories. And what belief systems are we playing in the background over and over again? What pattern is showing up over and over again? And really just being with yourself, giving yourself the self-care you deserve, most of all. Keep yourself balanced. Spend time in nature as often as you can, and be with the trees. It's amazing though, the trees also give a lot of ideas and insights as well. So we're not saying we're ignoring anything here or discrediting anything or what anyone is feeling right now. You're entitled to feel what you're feeling. And that is something also to remember, to not criticize or be hard on yourself. And oftentimes when we're so hard on ourselves, we can end up abandoning ourselves. So be there for yourself. And as you do so, when you need that time and space, that you're fully charged, it serves the collective in that way. And if you feel called to step in a different way that is actionable for the collective, tune into your heart, but listen to your heart from a space that is clear, not coming from a space that is wounded and broken. Not that it's really broken, but it feels that way when we're in grief. And there has been a lot coming up lately for so much for us to process. It comes in shock waves, so yeah, it can rattle our nervous system in different ways. So give yourself a moment if you need to be with it. And that is the message for this episode. And I am sending you all of my highest and best love during this time. So hang in there. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to click like, save, and share with others so they can also experience what you just experienced. And stay tuned for some more high vibe episodes. And I'll be connecting with you in the next quantum field. Sending you so much love.